Hello everyone, Mike here with you guys finally, and this is going to be my video about the bugs that have been coming out this year. So far, most of the major releases have either been released with bugs and had to have been patched, or if a game was release fixed, an update would come out for that game, and thus making it buggy, literally breaking the game. A game that wasn't really broken to begin with, Alien Isolation. Okay, so, yeah. Most of the major releases, from Assassin's Creed Unity to Halo Master Chief Collection to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, um, Grand Theft Auto 5, although much of the bugs from last gen have been fixed this time, there are still a few minor ones here and there. That one's not too big of a deal overall compared to some of the other ones, but it needs to be mentioned anyway. Um, but overall, the quality in games is beginning to drop. And unlike 1982, when people just stopped buying them, people are now willing to accept it because they'll patch it later. Well, guess what? And I fear that's dangerous. You know, it's setting a bad precedent, and I think gamers and the gaming industry and the gaming community as a whole, whether it's from the consumer point of view or from developers and publishers, we need to start taking a good look at ourselves, because we things are beginning to look a lot like 1982. Because, as you know, there were a lot of broken games coming out, a lot of bad games coming out, and the industry crashed. But back then, people weren't willing to put up with BS, and I feel like they are today because of patches. Patches have been abused. They make the consoles unfuture-proof. You know, they're not. If a game is released buggy, there's not going to be a patch for it 20 years down the line. So future generations are going to look at critically acclaimed games they heard years ago and go, "Hey, why'd you guys like this game? This game is crap." Well, it was good for a time. So yeah, but this has been going on longer than just the past few years. I honestly think things started to go downhill with the original Xbox 360. Things went downhill, I think, when the 360 was rushed out, and it succeeded. It got away with red rings. They released a broken product and were rewarded for it. That set a precedent for the industry. When the Xbox 360 was released broken, and they succeeded, they got away with it. We said yes to you. We told the gaming companies that you could put out broken products and we will buy them. We will congratulate you for bad work. And then it continued on after that with the DLCs and the patches, and then the inferior multiplats on a less preferred console like the PS3, and to a lesser extent now the Xbox One, but definitely a PS was that broken games were definitely an issue with the PS3 when it came to Bethesda games. Bethesda put out broken game. They put out Fallout 3, which sucked on the PS3, and Skyrim, which sucked on the PS3, and they got away with it. They were critically acclaimed, and nobody dotted an I. But I think once Skyrim came out, eventually the bad reports started to surface, and people were starting to get a little upset. But still, this was after that Skyrim got all these awards. So, you know, you used to be able to go buy a review. Okay, the review said this game is great. You go out and get it. If you got the wrong system, that's not for you. So, and so many other things as well. We have the microtransactions, and then you had online. Last gen, you had online passes, and some have speculated this is due to the recession, that the gaming industry didn't know what to do, didn't know how to recover from the recession. We also are falling behind in terms of consoles because of the longevity of the last generation. So we're in a mess right now, I think. And even though we had some great games last year, the best games that came out this year were ports of last year's games. This year has been pretty lackluster overall for games because they got delayed. The ones that did come out were buggy or disappointing. We're not in good shape right now. And now Of course, you have the Gamergate controversy. I don't want to get too much into that because it's a very complex issue, but but that's not painting gamers in a positive light either. You know, the controversy surrounding it, whether you're for it or against it. Um, so we have. Here's what needs to happen right now. There are several options. The best option, I would say, is it's time to crash the industry again. The gaming industry is young. It hasn't been around as long as other mediums like movies and television and books. And by the way, I think movies are in bad shape too, especially when it comes to censorship. In fact, it's at a point now where television has more R-rated content than movies nowadays. But that's a future topic another time. Um, but as for games, the thing crashing the industry, I think we need to do that. The gaming industry is young, um, and it's not going. It's going to take more than one, I think, crash in order to keep it in the right direction. The gaming industry had to learn its lesson the hard way before, and honestly, when technology evolves, new opportunities come out. Yes, but new mistakes can happen as well, and I think we're making those now. And so again, I think the gaming industry needs to slip, needs to fall, needs to and then pick itself up back up again and change because it's making mistakes now, just like it made mistakes back then. You know, it's going to take more than one fall for the gaming industry to develop in the right direction. You know, one crash isn't going to be enough, I don't think. I think we're at that point now where it's time for another crash. I really do believe this. I don't want it to be that way, but honestly, I think that's the best option right now. Gamers need to say, screw patches, I'm just going to quit. And I think we need to do that. The gaming industry will hear that. Remember what happened with Xbox One. They they completely changed their mind like that once once we said no to them initially. So that's the best solution, I think. But other solutions that could be done is we could avoid all this if the gaming industry decides to think about this and change before it gets to that point. I think the gaming industry can still be saved right now. I don't think it's on life support yet, but so at the gaming industry, if anyone from the gaming industry is watching this video or watching some of the other videos about a second crash possibility, or just take a look at what's going on and look back and realize what are we doing and trying to make positive changes. You know, we could actually keep the industry going and avoid a crash. But I don't. But honestly, I think we really do need one. Um, but let's see. Another solution would be for consoles, for console people, for Microsoft and Sony and the people who make consoles, to go. You know, if you release a buggy game, we're not going to put it out. We're just not going to put it out. I don't care how big you are. We're not putting out crap. We're not going to put out broken games in our console. It makes us look bad. It destroys confidence, consumer confidence. Our consumers who buy for our system, you know, it makes us look bad. I honestly, I would like to see console developed companies take a stand against this. Um, And finally, and this is probably the least likely option because it's not really as important as other issues, is for the government to get involved and enforce some sort of quality control, saying, like if I were in charge of consumer relations in government, I would say that um, you cannot release a broken game at all. Even if you can fix it later with a patch or fix it with a day one patch, that's a loophole we're not going to let you get away with. You have to release your game complete and fixed and working properly, even without the need for a patch. That's the least likely option, but that can happen. But would I would definitely support it if the government were to step in to do that. Um, Simply to make sure our products work. That's all. So yeah, but honestly, I think the crash is probably going to be the way to go. Or at least the threat of a crash. Even the threat of a crash could probably change things around. I mean, Microsoft they got scared pretty quickly, and I think these developers can get scared pretty quickly as well if we simply threaten them with a crash. I think that might be enough. Just the threat of a crash. We might not actually have to go that far. But yeah, the things are beginning to look a lot like 1982. The only difference is because of patches, a lot of people are saying, "I'll just wait for this to get patched up, or they'll patch it later," and that I'm afraid is allowing mediocrity and lack of quality to run rampant, and it's making people more accepting of it. So yeah, that is my thoughts on the current state of gaming, in particular this year, but also the years leading up to it, all the way back to the 360 launch. Um, so so there we go. That's my thoughts on this issue. Feel free to agree, disagree, whatever, or just ignore this video completely. That's all I got to say for right now, and I will talk to you hopefully soon.